Okay, video on my Fitech. Okay, I didn't make a video of me installing it. It is raining out here because I've been doing it for a couple days. Unfortunately, it is an easy install, but I had a couple issues that came up with. All right, my throttle, the pedal lever is right there. All right, and it's behind the throttle body. All right, so I had to put a bend in there. All right, so that was one. One of the things they don't tell you when you start this up, if you're having idle issues, this is your idle screw. All right, you need to adjust this while it's off. Okay, and you adjust your idle screw, and moves this lever. All right, and okay, what you do is you come in, and when you turn on, I'll get the key here. Okay, so if I turn the key and I turn this on, okay, my TPS, which is wow, I can't think of it at the moment. It needs to be at 0. I can't remember what it's called, but okay, now right now my IAC steps is 121. When I start it up, okay, what I want, okay, idle's up, it's going to drop down, and that needs to be between 3 and 10. As you can see, it's dropping down. Okay, went a little too low, so it's going to come back up. All right, it's still learning, but anyway, that's basically what you're looking for. All right, if it's above 10, then you need to go clockwise. If it's below 3, then you need to go counterclockwise. So I'm going counterclockwise because, as you can see, it's kind of jumping between 3 and 0. Okay, but that's basically how you adjust your idle if you're having any issues with your idle. Okay, let's see here. All right. Oh, I went the wrong way. Sorry, that's why it wasn't working. Okay, your AFR is your air fuel ratio. All right, and my target is 13.57, and 14 is like perfect. I'm running at 13, 14, so that's perfect. All right, I'm already warm, so I'm running 150 degrees, which is perfect. Okay, my RPMs are still high, but I'm still playing with my idle. I'm just trying to show you how it's done. Okay, so that's basically how you would adjust that. So you would turn this off. All right, so I'm still a little too high, so what I need to do is I need to go and turn that idle screw counterclockwise, and then I come and turn the key. Okay, now when I turn the key, my TPS should be at 0. Okay, so that's at 0. If it's not, you need to turn it off and redo it until that says 0. Then you should have a reading here on your IAC steps. Okay, when you start it, it should drop down to anywhere between 3 and 10. Okay, so that's how it goes. I just ran the handheld into, through my firewall. I just drilled a hole and put a little grommet. Okay, now the next thing you do is your O2 sensor. Okay, as you can see, let's see, there it is. Okay, my temperature sensor is right there. Okay, and it's 2 brackets, and then you put on a little bung, and then you just squeeze it on with the clamps. All right, and then you can't see it, but right where my finger is where the sensor comes up, and it plugs into the back of here. Okay, then my next problem, ow, I hit my head. My next problem was my temperature sensor. Okay, my temperature sensor is normally under here, but I had to plug that. This is nothing. Okay, I had to put a plug there. Okay, so I put my temperature sensor here, and I move this hose over to the water pump. So now I have water pump going to heater core back to water pump, and I have radiator going into water neck, and then this is a plug. Okay, so now this is how I get antifreeze in through the top. Okay, now I put my sensor here, plug the other one, although I wish I hadn't plugged that. What I wish I had done was leave the old sensor in so I had both of them, but either way it didn't work. Okay, so for me, unfortunately, I had to find top dead center. I had to remove my distributor just to get that old sensor out to put it in a plug. So that was why it took so long on my particular setup. Okay, so then I have, all right, here is my constant ignition. Now your ignition has to be cranking ignition. I'm sorry, not constant ignition. Your ignition needs to be cranking ignition and ignition. On my old truck, I only have one, so it's always cranking ignition. So in other words, when you turn the key, power should come on. Then when you turn to start the vehicle, you should still be getting power. Okay, so there are two different versions of that, so you might need to check into that. So then I just ran my power wire. Okay, and then I ran my ground. I'm sorry, this is my ground, and then this is the ground for the fuel pump. Okay, so the fuel pump, I ran all the wires. All right, I ran all the fuel. All right, now they don't, these are the AN fittings they give you, and they don't have little clamps on them, but they hold well. And I'll tell you what, I didn't get any leaks, and I didn't have any issues. I didn't have to crank real hard. Okay, got my vacuum hose hooked up. Okay, so then I got my other vacuum hose that goes to, this is the one that goes to the brake booster. Okay, so brake booster, and then PVC or just vacuum. For me, it's just a vacuum. And then there's another vacuum hose for vacuum advance and whatnot, but I don't use any of that. All right, I'm trying to talk fast because it's raining and I don't want all this rain in my motor. Okay, but so positive, negative, ignition, temperature sensor, O2 sensor, and then here's the tack. I left my old tack and then my new tack, and I have an HEI distributor. And the setup I'm telling you, I'm sorry, is for an HEI distributor. If you have a different style distributor, you might be hooking this up a different way, because this does not have timing advance on the Fitech. So ran the tack here. Now when you're programming yours, you have to set it as a tack or a two-way coil. Real simple to figure out. Mine didn't even ask for some reason. I already knew. Okay, and then I'm gonna come back here. Okay, so I ran you have to run a return line. Okay, so here's my return line. It goes all the way up to the front. Okay, make sure that you hook that return line up correctly, because I actually switched them by accident, and for a day I was having a problem I couldn't figure out, and it turns out I just switched them, and luckily I didn't ruin anything. Okay, so I have tank. All right, this needs a vent. I don't have one, so I have to keep popping my vent, otherwise it creates pressure. So make sure you have a vent. Okay, so return line, I'm sorry, supply comes into a pre-filter. Okay, this pre-filter is a monster. As you can see, it's the size of my hand. Okay, and then it comes down to the fuel pump. This fuel pump, if you get it from Fitech, it needs to be 58 psi. Normal electric fuel pumps are only, for fuel injection, are only about 40 to 50. And then carbureted are only, either for a manual it's about 4 psi, for an electric it's about 7 to 10, I think. So this one, it will run, I think it handles up to like 100 or something. But anyway, this one, it has a feature where when you're at idle, it turns down the wattage, so you don't have to hear the humming quite as loud. Okay, so supply, pre-filter, fuel pump, and goes under the truck, comes in here, and then back to where we were. Okay, there's the other filter. There it is. Okay, and that one's normal, but it's still like 100 micron or something like that, so it definitely gets rid of a lot of stuff. Okay, so let me tell you, I only just got this thing started today, but it definitely has some more horsepower. It has some more get up, and it sounds so much smoother. It is more reactive. Everything about this thing runs better, let me tell you, even though I haven't finished adjusting my idle. So I'm going to give it one more quick start before the end of the video. If you have any questions or comments, hooking it up. I had, not really necessarily any issues, but had a fun time doing it. So if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll see. Okay, so I don't need to prime it, but By the way, I'm on the dashboard. Okay, so here's the dashboard. All right, I have my RPM set at 900 because this thing does not really like to run under 1,000 RPMs, but I do it anyway. So as you can see, it's running great, sounding great, and it takes off now, let me tell you. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Thanks for watching.